Now then, would it be an Audi RS review if we didn't start with a launch control? You really cannot beat 5-cylinder noise, can you? In all honesty, I don't think I've driven a better hot hatch in years. This is the brand new Audi RS3. And whilst it might look fairly similar on the outside, it's what's inside and what's underneath that has made all the difference. So let's get into it. My name's Tom and you are watching Paragon Cars, and that is an Audi RS3. Okay, so starting under the bonnet, you might be slightly disappointed that this is just really the same engine that was in the pre-facelift car. It's got 400 horsepower and 500 Newton meters of torque, and it's still an absolute weapon. But it's everything that surrounds this engine that has been completely reworked. The suspension has been fully recalibrated, which according to Audi now means more oversteer without the throttle. The rear torque splitter is now more aggressive, which means more oversteer when you're on throttle. And the ESC, the electronic stability control, is now, according to Audi, far more lenient, which, you guessed it, means far more oversteer. So before we do the obligatory 30 to 70 time and see where this thing sits on the leaderboard, let's just take it for a drive and see what happens. Okay, so full attack mode, that means the engine is in its sportiest setting, the suspension is in its stiffest setting, the exhaust is in its loudest setting, and the torque splitter is in its most spicy setting. This thing goes around corners like nothing I've ever experienced. It genuinely wants to tear your face off. I cannot explain how capable this car is. Genuinely, a national speed limit down here, this could pretty much double it before it was even really struggling. Like, round this corner, usually in my car, 40 miles an hour max speed. Here, has no problem. Bloody Nora! Just doing it at the speed limit. It is absolutely mental. And you can place it exactly where you want. You can kind of feel the tyre's edge just right on your fingertips. It is a marvel of engineering. There isn't, I mean, I'm talking honestly now, there is nothing that's keeping up with you down a B road. Nothing. A supercar would be hopping and skipping all over the place because it'll be too stiff. Any other hot hatch is just not even going to be close. The lateral grip this car has, I've never experienced before. This is closer to an actual race car than a road car in terms of actual grip. Okay, so we know it's got a lot of lateral grip, but what about the dynamics? Let's talk about it. The steering, very good. It has feel, it has texture. The throttle pedal is quite long actually, and has a really nice feel to it. You can give little tiny corrections to your throttle input that you couldn't do in the older car. Gear shifts, absolutely bonkers, always have been. This dual clutch gearbox is just mega. The damping though, unreal. Even in the stiffest setting, still doesn't hop, skip and jump over bumps. You're always connected to the road, and obviously with that all-wheel drive, you can fire yourself out of corners. And when I mean fire, I mean you can pretty much just go around a corner with your foot flat to the floor, and it will just go round it. And then there's the sound of the thing. For a 2024 car, it sounds mega, and Audi have actually said in their press release that they have fettled the exhaust just slightly so that it sounds good all the time, no matter what mode you're in. That acceleration never gets old. The one thing I love about this drivetrain is that it doesn't really have a lot of torque low down, so you get this lovely crescendo of torque and power as you build through the rev range. And then with this virtual cockpit, you have lights flickering at you in the dash and in the heads-up display telling you that you're about to slam into the limiter. The changes they've made to the chassis are extraordinary. Understeer is gone. Forget understeer exists. Maybe if you're in a very long sweeping corner, you might get a little bit of it, but you would get it in a GT3 RS as well. This is like a GT3 RS as a hot hatch. I can barely talk. This thing is so fast. Good Lord. This is a white knuckle ride from a manufacturer that is known for understeer. Absolutely unreal. So yes, it certainly feels fast, but will it do its claimed 0 to 60 time? Let's find out. Launch control is ready, let's go. Good Lord. This thing is brutal. Okay, so even though my phone was mounted, it went flying. And yeah, ended up in the passenger seat. Anyway, let's see what times we managed. Oh my Lord. Okay, I know Audi kind of underquote their figures, but this is a tad ridiculous. We have just done a time of 3.58 seconds, 0 to 60. Remember, this is a fully stock car as well. And even though it's a warm day, these are some British roads, so they don't have the best grip. I reckon on a high quality flat road, this would do 3.4 seconds to 60. That means it's now the fastest car on our leaderboard. But there's more. If you look closer, we averaged over 1G of acceleration up to 40 miles an hour. That is basically like diving off the edge of a cliff. Absolutely mental. Okay then, so it handles well. But let's talk about the elephant in the room when it comes to the interior. And that is this steering wheel. Not only is it backlit and touch sensitive, but there's only one little clicky button underneath all those clicky buttons. And to me, it just doesn't feel that nice. However, having said that, the shape of the wheel, I think in person at least, does actually make sense. I mean, a lot of Audi drivers drive like that at the end of the day. And the thickness of the wheel is really, really nice. Plus the actual quality is much higher in person than what it looks like on photos. So don't be put off just because of this. It is actually fairly nice. It's just this bit that's a bit crap. Thankfully though, the rest of the interior is standard Audi, so it's exactly what you would expect. High quality leathers, nice smells, and an easy infotainment. Then as you can see, I've got just enough legroom for a guy that's 5'11", and if I flip the camera around, you can see I've got just enough headroom as well. Thing is, if you're over 6 foot, I don't think any hatchback is really going to cater to you, but Audi have done a pretty good job considering what this thing is. However, what's it going to do on the 30 to 70 time? Is it just going to do the same as a 2017 Audi RS3? Or is it going to punch above what its numbers would suggest? Let's find out. So not only was the 0 to 60 time rapid, the 30 to 70 time was even more rapid. We did a time of 3.36 seconds, which is pretty darn quick. So that's faster than the 2017 Audi RS3 Sportback, faster than a BMW M2 Competition, a car with a little bit more power than this, and basically as fast as a W204 C63 that had been not only remapped, but had a new exhaust fitted, and yeah, it had 550 horsepower. So the RS3 is definitely punching above its weight. Well done, Audi. Okay, whilst the Audi RS3 is a fantastic performance car, clearly, it is also still an Audi. So once you go back into auto, we have things like adaptive cruise control with distance limiters and lane assist. The steering is nice and light in auto, and it will return just over 30 miles per gallon on the combined cycle. On the motorway, you might even get about 35 to 37, which, when you consider this thing's got 400 horsepower and can do what it does, is mighty impressive indeed. And it's still quiet inside. You're still looking at around 72 decibels on the interior, even though we've got bigger tyres, a wider body, and there's not much wind noise either. Now the suspension, the damping, has a dual personality that I really genuinely have never experienced before. It's like worlds apart. In comfort mode, it is genuinely just an Audi A3. Really comfortable, soaks up the bumps perfectly well. Whereas in dynamic or performance mode, I mean, it feels like track ready. It feels like a BMW M4 CS. It is bonkers. So Audi, I commend you for giving this thing such a breadth of capabilities. In conclusion then, in my mind, this car has no shortcomings. Audi have perfected the hot hatch. It no longer understeers, in fact it tries to oversteer around corners. Those B-roll shots that you saw earlier, that tyre noise was coming from the rear tyre pushing me around the corner. Absolutely mental. When you lift off, you get lift off oversteer, and when you get on the power, it pushes you around the corner. So it totally negates the fact that the engine is so far up front. Truly an extraordinary bit of kit. And in my mind, absolutely worth every single penny. If you need one car that will fit into any parking space, will do the weekly shop, the commute to work, sound as good as this, and handle as good as this, I don't think there is another car on the market. And you know what else? Unfortunately, I don't think this engine is going to be in the next RS3. But I guess we'll have to wait and find out. Anyway, as always, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, give it a like, and why not subscribe, as not only are you going to see some more, even cooler content, you will help us with the algorithm. The link for CT Carbon will be down in the description below if you want carbon fibre bits for your car. They do a lot more than that as well, to be fair. But they're a lovely bunch of blokes, obviously, because they let me drive this brand new Audi RS3. As well as that, there will be a link to our website down below as well, where you can check out everything we have for sale. Hopefully, we'll have one of these for sale soon, because they are absolutely mega, and I would love to get behind the wheel of one of these again. Anyway, my name has been Tom, and you have been watching Paragon Cars. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.